Okay, sync up. So, welcome to the 25th episode of Low Tide, the official channel to. Welcome to. Okay. Rolling. Welcome to Low Tide. This is the 25th episode of Low Tide, the official YouTube series for Rude Planet. I am
You're probably wondering how I got here. It all started with a little book called Bad Things and something called 2020 and the coronavirus.
We had the technical capability, and we're determined. History demonstrates impossible that we should repeat as sure as possible.
This is why I don't like doing too many sketchier type stuff, because I'm doing all this stuff on my own and I need this. So today I had the harebrained idea of doing 3 episodes at once. That's the reason why I like his episode 25. You know, it's like this is the first of the episodes I'm filming, and so I kind of gotta get everything straight, and I gotta think of, so if I launch into my monologue, do I try to keep things in order so that it makes sense? It's like, oh, I'm talking about this, but that should, it's like this is like 2 weeks worth of episodes, so, or like, a week and a half or something like that. So you're gonna have to bear with me. But like, I came in here, it's like, today is like, it's like the beginning of like another big heat wave around here. And like it started to threaten to storm, which didn't happen. I was hoping it would, because it would cool things down. But it's already pretty bad here. It's gonna get like 110 up until like Sunday. And I thought, you know what? I got some boxes. I'm gonna watch a movie. Last night I watched a movie, so I'm gonna do the movie review now. And right now we're doing GUNS AKIMBO. It's an action movie that came out last year. I know some of you seen it, but stars Daniel Radcliffe, and I came in. I came into this the movie based off of seeing the trailer earlier this year. I know that was, playing at our local independent theater or whatever. And I had thought, earlier this year that maybe I'd go see it. And then I saw the trailer and I'm like, nah, this definitely doesn't look like it's going to be for me. But yeah, I saw it was on Prime, so it's like, oh, I have a Prime account. I'll go ahead and watch that. It's like I actually got around to watching a movie. It used to be like I did a lot of tape trading back in the day. Like I had bootleg copies of like Cannibal Holocaust and like Chinese porn and a whole bunch of other shit that I would like, trade back and forth, for like other weird and obscure shit. And I was watching movies every day, sometimes 2 or 3. And like when I was living in a small little apartment by myself, I had like a Laserdisc player, VHS player, DVD player, and like I just would watch everything. And then like even then I'd start settling in my ways. Like at a certain point there for a while, like I didn't have cable, I didn't have internet, and so like every night I was watching watching like 4 things. I think I was watching Clerks. I had that on Laserdisc. Freaked, and Heathers, and yeah, Dazed and Confused. Not the Richard Linklater is one of these directors that I like some of his movies, but then I remember he made Slacker, and then I hate him all over again. But anyway, yeah, all Gen X type stuff. So I go into Guns Akimbo thinking that it's going to be, like a rip-off of... I thought I heard something. I thought it was going to be like a rip-off of like John Wick or something, and I'm not really that big of a fan of John Wick. And it's like, it's like, oh, look, there's Harry Potter. He's wearing like a robe and has guns nailed to his hands and is wearing little floppy slippers. And it's like I saw like the promotional material and I thought like this movie's going to get old with me like really fucking quick. And but like I'd like watched as much YouTube as I really wanted to. It's like, it's like yesterday, like I was like after like I was watching comic book shit, and then I was like watching Townsend's and something else, and I was just like, I need to watch something else. So I put on Guns Akimbo, and it wasn't what I was expecting. As I said, I thought it was going to be like, a goofy ass, John Wick ripoff, and I'll save that for another episode. But what I got instead was like hyper violent by today's standards, I guess, action comedy that really doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. Like at some points, you got like some really good action sequences, and then you got like the typical Matrix curse of the ramp slow motion type shit. Really shitty humor. Really shitty. Yeah, like yeah, it's just all over the map, and it tries to be as kinetic as possible. And like the basic premise is this. Stop me if you've heard this one before. There's like some evil organized crime conglomerate that is running some internet show where people go and kill each other, and it's like the most popular thing on the internet. People go and watch it, and like they love watching people kill each other. So it's called Schism. So like let's get into premise beach material here. It's like Schism. Here's the contrivance. It's like we got the real world, and then we got this, stepping out into the other world or urban fantasy type. I don't even know. Anyway, it's like a fish out of water thing. Daniel Radcliffe plays like this schlub that works, like a, cubicle job or something, like doing coding or whatever. His job is boss is an asshole and everything like that. And he has like, an ex-girlfriend that won't even talk to him anymore. And he's got some stupid ass friends. So at night, like he gets caught up watching the schism thing, and like, he gets caught up watching the violence, and then starts trolling people in the forums, and eventually he trolls the wrong person, and the owner of Schism, which is, like this tattooed fucking, like crime boss dude, shows up at his apartment with a couple thugs, and they knock him out, and then they like, bolt guns to his hands, like with nails and shit. And they tell him, it's like you have to leave the city. It's like you have to kill this girl, and if you don't, we're gonna kill you, and you can't leave the city or whatever. So yeah, and the girl is, like this total badass that knows how to use all the guns in the world. And then you get into the hijinks, and that's basically the setup for the movie. And like all the important plot points telegraphs itself right around this point. It's like, okay, there's a girlfriend that won't talk to him anymore, but they still have a bit of a relationship. So how are they going to get back together? So it's all pretty pedestrian stuff, plot-wise. And then you church it up with a whole bunch of like Scott Pilgrim type bullshit. Yeah, it's basically take a movie like Crank that's hyperkinetic and has like every single pop-up video blind date type, editing technique, and just like throw a whole bunch of like Scott Pilgrim type shit at it and a whole bunch of zoomer shit, and you end up starting to get what Guns Akimbo is like. But after a certain, I hated like the first half hour of the movie. I just kept wanting to turn it off. It's like, Matt, you're not going to want to do a review of this. Just turn it off. But after a certain point, it's like after you get used to the bad guys, it's like you got like the ultra charismatic, over the top bad guy, and he's got like the Mohawk henchman, wearing leather and chains and shit like that. There's a lot of familiar stuff here. There's a bit of a, if you take a piece of moldy cheese and you start, slicing away all the mold. So like, take this moldy cheese and slice away all this zoomer bullshit. There's a little bit of a Gen X underpinning here. And I can't say I started to like the movie, but I got used to it. And it started to become very palatable. And it's all over the place. I still don't know. Like it's a movie that has no idea what it wants to be. At one point it's an action movie, and at another point it's got some like dumbass dirtbag humor that just it's like there's it's marketed to gamers. That's what it is. It's marketed to gamers. There was another movie that came out not too long ago that was also sort of a ripoff of John Wick. It was called Puller. I think it was based off of a graphic novel. It had Mads Mikkelsen with like an eye patch, and he was like a hitman or whatever. But it had like sort of a same vibe. Just sort of like this Gen X influence there that, just sort of acts like a little bit of cohesion that, makes it palatable. It's like you got the bitter pill and then you got the sugar that makes it go down. So, yeah, it's like by the end of it, I thought, I could watch this again. It's like the vibe I got was back in the 90s, the studios and like everybody was trying to like market to Gen Xers, and Gen Xers are cynical, so like they didn't quite really get it right until like right around 1995. Take 1995. Here's 3 movies that came out in 1995. You had Hackers, you had Strange Days, and you had Tank Girl. Think about that kind of aesthetic. It was also like the last year that OK Cola was on the shelves. it started to kind of get it right, and for whatever reason, Guns Akimbo kind of reminds me of that on way underneath. It doesn't resemble any of it, but way underneath. I don't know if it's the aesthetic or whatever. It's like, you got the guy's fish out of water type scenario, and anyway. As I said, when I review, I do the stream of consciousness type thing, and I got like a billion different ideas. Yeah, that's kind of, at the end of it, I thought, I could put this on every now and then. This kind of movie I could put on in the background. It's obnoxious, and it's full wall to wall with butt rock as its soundtrack. But yeah, and like I had, who the fuck is the director here? Wait a minute. Guns Akimbo. So like, God, I hate IMDb anymore. Jason Lee Howden. He had directed Deathgasm, a movie I kind of avoided. I watched the trailer of it, and then it's like a death metal, black metal themed horror comedy one. I hate horror comedy, so like that's one of the reasons why I never watched it. But then I saw the scenes with the guy in corpse paint and shit like that, and it just looked cringe as fuck. So I guess I get it. And I looked a little bit more on this movie, and I saw there was some controversy about it. And I looked it up, and I saw the director did something. And in the articles, as soon as the articles mentioned something about Twitter, my eyes glazed over. And I thought, whatever the controversy was, it's not worth reading, Matt, because all it is just going to be a cringe fest. So, anyway. The girl that plays the adversary, was her Nyx. She was played by the actress that was in. Did Blumhouse do Ready or Not? I don't know. Anyway, another movie I haven't seen. Anyway, depending on your mood, you might like it. Depending on your mood, you might hate it. There's going to be people out there that this is going to be their favorite movie. I know it speaks to gamers. Here's the thing. Video games are inherently a Gen X invention. The primary audience where it first came into being were Gen Xers, and the 3D stuff that is played today. I'm not a gamer, but I know enough of it to know that like the basic tropes of video games really appealed to that whole late gen that late stage Gen X thing. So maybe that's what I'm reading into it. I don't know. In any case, I'll give it another view once in a while, but it's not, not by any stretch, favorite movie. Anyway, I have no idea what to do with the thumbnail. Just maybe something like that. Okay. This is episode 25, so I need to take a break and film episode 24 and 26. So, yeah, stick around. This is going to be a mess.